Hello and welcome to day 102 in our journey through the Word. Uh, I want to go back and just think a little bit more and talk a little bit more about yesterday's reading. And I keep coming back to the question, where is their king? They look around and you'd expect, the lots have been cast and it comes down and the group's getting smaller and smaller and smaller and the lots cast and it's cast for Saul. And the people turn around. He was there. He was standing right here next to me, and all of a sudden he's gone. Where is he? He's hiding among the baggage. When I think of a king, I imagine stately. I imagine somebody with authority, somebody that is feared by the people, somebody that is a leader, someone that is revered by the people. And instead, we look around and the king that God had anointed for Israel now is hiding among the baggage. I can only imagine that some of the people had to question, you call him a king? Yes, he was handsome. Yes, he stood a head taller than everybody else, but he was hiding. Yeah, I expect this person to be brave, to stand up and be our leader, and he's hiding. Things always look better from the outside, but when we get closer, we begin to see the blemishes when we compare anything to God. The people so wanted a king because everybody else had one. I want that because everybody else has one. Do we not have that? Do we not hear that from our children today? Have we not taught them that? Have we not said that to them ourselves? I want that because everybody else has one. And that's what the people said. I want a king because everybody else around us has a king. But we see that God comes to Saul because he was told, if we remember in our reading, Samuel tells Saul to come to this point and wait for him there for 7 days. And Saul waited 7 days, but in the 7th day, Samuel had not shown up yet, and so Saul just feels like he has to move forward and prepare for battle. But he knew he needed to make that sacrifice, and so he made the sacrifice before the Lord. And as soon as he was done, Samuel shows up. Had he waited just a little bit longer, how things could have been different, would have been different. But God told Saul, but now your kingdom must end. For the Lord has sought out a man after his own heart. The Lord has already appointed him to be the leader of his people because you have not kept the Lord's command. He's just been anointed king, and now he first shot out of the bat. He's messed up to the point where God said, you're not following my commands. So I have already found somebody else. And we know that somebody in the days ahead we'll be reading more about this story, but we know that somebody is David. And David will appear on the scene here before too long, and we'll see. Again, Saul was 30 years old when he took the throne as king, and he lived, if I can find that quickly, he lived 42 years as king. And so, again, this is the very beginning of his new role as the leader, as the king of Israel. And now God's already told him, your kingdom is going to end. I've already had to find somebody else. We're told to wait on the Lord. When he doesn't meet our timelines, that's okay. When he says he's coming, he is coming. He promises that to those of us that are his children. Don't grow weary, for he is coming. There will be a day when he calls us all home. Whether it's through death, earthly death, we know as if we're a believer that we have been saved and he promised us eternity with him, or whether he comes back and says the time is now, and the events that we'll read late in the year at Revelations will begin to become true, and we will begin to see they are true and they will become true, but again in God's time. I was reminded never to give up. And out of Psalms 27:14, and I use the King James Version because I just love how it sounds, and just the words used in this translation. It says, "Wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. I say, wait. Wait, I say, on the Lord." Had Saul just waited just a few more minutes longer, who knows how this whole book, his legacy, how that would have changed and how that would have been rewritten. But he wasn't patient to wait upon the Lord. He wasn't patient to wait upon the Lord's messenger. He waited for 7 days. But Samuel didn't come, and so Saul sacrificed that burnt offering. His impatience at the first of his kingship cost him dearly. Our impatience in our life, when we're waiting upon the Lord, if we become impatient, we too, if we try to jump out there before the Lord and try to do it on our own, it will be a costly mistake to us as well. We don't know and may not know the cost of that. We may never. But in Saul's case, we see in history, and I wonder how much that he remembered the conversation that we read about today in the later years of his life, when it says, "But now your kingdom must end. For the Lord has sought out a man after his own heart." We see, and I want to just touch, just briefly on this, but we see the excuses that Saul uses, the excuses we use as man to justify our disobedience, to justify our sin. We say, it wasn't what I expected, and you can fill in the blank. You didn't do what I thought you should, so I fill in the blank. You said you would. You didn't meet my expectations, and and you fill in the blank. So I did it on my own. I didn't go to God. I didn't ask God. Saul didn't go to God. Saul didn't ask God. He did it on his own. He felt compelled to sin. And thus he did. God's time is not my time, but I have to trust him and I have to wait. For he just may be just a moment away. And even if he's not, I still must wait. And again, I leave you with these words out of Psalms 27:14, where it says, "Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart." Wait, I say, on the Lord. I hope you have a great day. And again, I encourage you, wait upon the Lord.